Hey everybody, welcome to Mason Plus. Thank you very much for watching and thank you very much for listening. Appreciate you guys a lot. Got a killer show today. John Cena, the John Cena, who's got a brand new movie on Netflix called Little Brother, is going to be with me here in a minute. A little bit later on in the show, Mark Ellis from Rotten Tomatoes, he's also a stand-up comic. We'll talk about the greatest LA movies of all time. This show is brought to you by my friend, Jacob Imrani. If you're involved in any kind of accident, if you're in Southern California, he's the guy you want. He's the guy I trusted when I had an accident, and you can trust him too. The number is so easy, 800-345-6789. That's 800-345-6789, or call jacob.com. All right, so I'm really excited for my first guest here. He is an absolute legend. He's now obviously the face of the WWE for many, many years. And now he is a really successful actor. And I got to recommend his new movie on Netflix. It's called Little Brother. Here's a trailer.
Bro, what up?
Brad?
Hey, Josh. So that is Marcus. He's my little brother from a charity thing I did in high school. And he is here for some reason.
Right. Okay. Just calling to check in. You seemed a little off the other night. I know you're under a lot of pressure with this show and all, but taking care of your mental health is really important, okay? You're getting to be that age where some guys snap and annihilate their whole family or whatever. You know what? Maybe I can get you a session with my life coach. Well, ex-life coach. I'm basically coaching him now, and it's been amazing.
Hey, Josh, you know what? I'm fine. Okay? Honestly, all good over here. You have no idea how good I'm doing. I'm actually on my way to go shoot my big reality show. So everything's fine. Okay, bye.
There you have it. Really, really funny stuff. Little Brother is the movie. Here's my conversation with John Cena. Hey, John, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Love the movie. Little Brother is hilarious and silly and raunchy and all that stuff. So congratulations, man. A lot of fun.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate the time today.
So you play a guy whose life gets overturned, upended, when your little brother shows up. He's played by Eric Andre. You guys are great together. When you met him for the first time, he seems like kind of a human tornado. What did you know right away? Yeah, there's a movie here?
I certainly did. As a matter of fact, I got to meet Eric and was a fan of the Eric Andre show before I got the script. The script came from Eric himself, and I read it very quickly and agreed to do it very quickly because I knew the pairing of us I thought would be entertaining together.
So Eric Andre has described this movie as What About Bob meets Parasite. How would you describe it?
Man, I think it's 90 minutes on Netflix that is fun and heartfelt. I think it'll make people laugh, and it might make them cry as well. And I think it's just a fun ride and a well-told story.
Is there improv in this movie, or did you stick with the script? Was Eric doing his thing?
Eric certainly is as a physical comedian, and certainly as a comedian writer himself. Matt Spicer's our director, also a writer. Ego on the cast, and Caleb as well. We have a lot of improvisers and a lot of comedians, and Sherry Cola. So there are a lot of ideas. I think the most important thing when you're exploring space is to certainly get the work on the page first, because that's the through line, that's the story, that's the playbook. And audibles are okay once we establish the playbook.
For you, what was the hardest scene to keep a straight face for?
Honestly, I think in comedy, you want to try to maintain a sense of earnestness, because if there's a really funny bit, you laughing is never going to make it. So most of the laughter on set, when I get like the giggles are in those days that are late or long, when a moment between the people going through the struggle together is put forward. I think those are the most funny for me. So really little material that has to do with the movie.
So you play a real estate agent who's trying to make it as a reality star on a real estate reality show.
Yeah.
Do you watch any reality TV? What do you think of reality TV?
Well, my goodness, you could trace my origins. The WWE, I believe, is the foundation of reality television. Suspending disbelief through drama in sport to give you through storylines and exciting programming week after week. So that's Man, that's kind of my home. That's WWE.
In real life, you've got 4 brothers. Which of your brothers is wild? Who's the responsible one? How do you fit into the whole thing?
I have 5. I'm number 2. I would say 1 and 5 are less wild, more responsible, and 2, 3, and 4 is where you get into the creative spirit, so to speak. Yes.
The creative spirit. Yeah, I like the way you described that there. I want to circle back to little brother, but I want to ask you a couple of sports questions.
Sure,
this is
fire away.
So you are a Boston sports guy. You grew up in the Boston area. What was the peak of your Boston sports fandom?
So, amazing story. Sports, as you know, takes anything in life to really be into, takes passion and investment. Growing up in West Newbury, Massachusetts, a very small town where your next door neighbor is acres away, I wasn't introduced to sport until I was pretty much in the age for Little League. And I'm talking like 10, 11, and 12 years old. We grew up on a small farming town where we kind of had our brothers, each other. My dad is a huge wrestling fan. One of the first homes in West Newbury to get cable, so we could watch AWA, then on ESPN, World Class Championship Wrestling, then on ESPN. Of course, WWF then. We could watch NWA, which became WCW, Gorgeous Lady of Wrestling. This is my childhood sport. I never catch with my dad, but we beat the hell out of each other in a makeshift wrestling ring. Fast forward to, the year the Sox made the series against the Mets, 85, 86. That was kind of my introduction to, wow, okay, there's sport out there and there's passion to be had. I think the zenith of my fandom would probably be when they reversed the curse. And as well as like the Patriots becoming such a dynasty. By then, it was less of a New England thing and far more of a, wow, this is really tough now to do in organized professional sports to win so much. I don't want to disrespect Boston sports guys or Boston sports fans by wearing that name tag. I have had moments where I'm drawn into the gravity, and I'm grateful for those. But I want to give the respect that's due to the passionate fans of Boston who've earned the right to cheer their teams on.
So who do you think, the Patriots, you mentioned their dynasty, who do you think was more responsible for their success, Brady or Belichick? It's an eternal, I work in sports radio, so it's an eternal question.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's an interesting question. I know there's a ton of opinion out there. I can only give what I see through my lens. The argument, if we have, when you look at like who's responsible or data metrics, when you look at Tom Brady going elsewhere in a short amount of time to bring a team a championship with a similar construct, certainly puts a lot of emphasis on the importance of his position. And yes, he is one player, but that also speaks volumes about like, I'm gonna go here with Tom because he was that much of an effect in my life. It is like asking, hey, who is more of a reason of success in the WWE, John Cena or Vince McMahon? I think an argument can be made for both. Actually, Vince McMahon wouldn't fit into that equation because Vince McMahon would be Robert Kraft. I think that's a name you're leaving out of that conversation.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I can't answer it, but I'll throw another name into the conversation. The fact that Mr. Kraft took a perspective on that team that used to play in a steel stadium out in Foxborough in the middle of nowhere, and he invested resource upon resource upon resource to make it a better fan experience, to make it a better, more professional organization, to put all the pieces together. Gosh, you can't do all that without the person who has the resource to try to turn the ship around, so to speak. So I'll add a name to the discussion, and instead of adding my answer, you now can go forth and be like, who was it more? Was it Belichick, Brady, or Kraft?
I'm going to do that on my show today. I'll do that on my show today. So you obviously, wrestling legends, you mentioned WWE. I want to know from you, where did this come from? Did you invent this or?
So this was literally a story about little brother, right? We're talking about little brother on Netflix, 626. My youngest brother, Sean, dared me to do it on television. I had just begun getting a little bit of awareness as the doctor of Thuganomics from West Newbury, Massachusetts, the rapping wrestler. And when I say a little awareness, I mean, I wasn't on the main program. I was on like the satellite program, the low viewership. Not a lot of people care except those people involved. And my brother dared me to do it. And I was just courageous enough to do it. And the great thing about WWE is if you're invested, if you're present, you can listen to the audience and they'll tell you if what you're doing is good or bad. And I did it and the audience loved it. So I did it again and I did it again. And here I am almost a quarter of a century later, invisible still.
There you go. Still invisible. I took some questions from my audience. I want to throw them out.
Love to hear what they want to say.
Let's see. This is from Paul at Game Down Sites. Ask John about his music career and if he would ever make another rap album.
So we just talked about the Doctor of Thuganomics, the rapping wrestler. Along with the You Can't See Me came my own theme music. And the theme music worked. The audience liked it. So another experiment is, well, maybe we can do an album. I came out with the album You Can't See Me in 2005. And I think it's certified double platinum at this point, which is really fantastic. I'm also 49 years old. And that then was an absolute point of passion for my life. Since then, the passions in my life have changed. That doesn't mean I don't look back on that with regret. I love the album. I love the fact that I was courageous enough to put it out to the world, and I'm really grateful that the world enjoys it. I don't think there'll be another one.
No more. James Handel wants to know, typical breakfast: pancakes, oatmeal, eggs, juice, nothing, water, energy drinks?
A flat white and 2 poached eggs on toast.
That's it.
That's the start. That's the start of my day, sir.
Very simple. Very simple. Last one here. This is Ernesto Madrigal Rodriguez. He wants to know what it felt like to win your first WWE title in LA at Staples Center and any other Staples Center memories.
Oh my goodness. The Staples Center has had many memories. The Staples Center was a home for us because of the schedule of the NBA playoffs. The Lakers were playing the Nuggets and we were supposed to run Denver. But Denver had a basketball game and we had no place to run. And who came to our rescue was the Staples Center. They provided us with a venue we were able to do. We came out as we offered a main event where it was Lakers versus Nuggets. I got to wear a Lakers jersey and we got to, beat up the Denver Nuggets to say thank you to those at Staples Center. And of course, I won my first world title there. Here's another one. Before I was even employed with the WWE and I was wrestling on the minor league circuit, I used to walk the concourse of the Staples Center in full wrestling regalia, handing out flyers for my flea market show that I hoped people would attend because wrestling fans were watching WWE Monday Night Raw. So I have a long history with that building in LA, and I'm very grateful for all the moments I've had.
That's awesome. So what is harder, performing for 70,000 wrestling fans or performing just you, set, camera?
I think they have their different challenges, right? It's not like one is more difficult. The difficulty is simply different. I want to try to put it into, it would be asking a shooting guard, what's more difficult, a 3-point shootout or, just the flow of the game and trying to drain a 3-pointer at the buzzer? They're both difficult. They're just both difficult in different lanes. I will say, without any shadow of a doubt in my own mind, what is far more exciting is being on the canvas in WWE. There's not an energy like it.
Wow. In terms of your wrestling career, I'm wondering, when did you become John Cena, the wrestler, who's now an actor, versus the actor who used to be a wrestler? In other words, when did you make that transition from being the wrestler who acts to the actor who used to wrestle?
So I think retirement had a big play in that. Yet still, I'm an advocate of, I'm still part of the WWE family. So I think that transition happens when I allow it to happen. Mm-hmm. I can't alter anybody's perception of me. You're going to think what you want. Your viewers and listeners are going to think what they want. That's something beyond my control. I know that I'm no longer an active WWE superstar. I will not have another match. I am absolutely retired. Barry Sanders is an inspirational beacon for me. So I know I'm not going to have another match. Therefore, I can say I was a performing wrestler. Now I'm lucky enough to have opportunities in acting. Yet, I'm still a member of the WWE family. The John Cena Classic is coming up this year on WWE, which I'm very excited about. I'm trying to lend my name to an event where we simply allow our best and brightest to have an opportunity to steal a show and put their business card down and say, I belong here. And I think that's really, really fun and really important. So I'm excited to attach my name with that, and I'm super passionate about it. So I don't know. I don't think I've hit that stride yet, but because I'm no longer a performer, I guess I have to swallow that jagged pill of the performing actor now who used to wrestle in a capacity for WWE.
You have fulfilled so many wishes, more than anybody, through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Tell us how that started for you, and just one particular one that really, really touched you.
The start is the one. WWE has had a relationship with Make-A-Wish for 50 years now. And I'm lucky to be along for the ride for a quarter century of that journey. And I didn't know what it was. I think teachable moments are really special in life when you can learn, especially because we all hit that comfort zone of, we kind of think we know how the world works. And as a young person, as a young performer in my mid-20s, I was brought into a room to meet a family. And this happens a lot. Hey, they're contest winners or this or that. You know from the second you enter the room that this family has a steep uphill climb. And then you spend time with the people, and afterwards I asked the live event representative, like, what was the reason they were here? Oh, that's a Make-A-Wish family. And I was like, well, what is Make-A-Wish? And they explained to me the concept of the charity, and the family was actually there to meet someone else. And this happens a lot because we have all of our performers ready to go. If a family is there to meet and hang out with me, while they get there, they'll meet Rhea Ripley, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, anybody who's aroused, stop in and say hello to give them the full experience. Once I realized that the concept of the charity, it allows children and families with life-threatening circumstances, really steep uphill climbs, a day off, a chance to escape, a chance to experience hope, a chance to just lighten their backpack for 24 hours. As a young man, that was number one for me. I turned to the live event rep. I said, whenever you need me to do that, I'm in. And that was my ethos for 23 years performing in the WWE. I don't care if they're here to meet me or not. Whenever you need me for that, I'm in.
That is so cool. That is so cool. You spent a lot of time sort of preparing for the WWE in sort of lower leagues, did you ever reach a point where you said, this is just too much, the traveler, all that stuff?
Steve, that's a great question. That's not the reason I got into this. I didn't get into pro wrestling to make it to the WWE. I got into pro wrestling to be a pro wrestler. The first time I saw a ring, it was not a promise of, you can be a professional at this. It's like college ball player who joins a wood bat league and then ends up in a softball league, or, why folks play golf. Like, they'll work all week to play golf on the weekend. And it's a sport and it's an activity that keeps them athletic and keeps them moving. I saw him in that wrestling ring, and that was my softball field. That was my golf course. That was my tennis court. I'm like, I'm going to work a cruddy job, and that's going to be fun because I know on the weekend I'm going to get to dress up and play a superhero. I really think that mentality and mindset helped me because I never expected anything from wrestling. And I was always prepared for opportunity. I missed one big opportunity earlier in my career and learned the lesson to kind of always be ready. But that mindset of like, I don't expect anything from this because it's such a whimsical, the math isn't really in my favor. It's such a whimsical experiment anyway. I think that's helped keep my mindset in a good space for WWE.
Very cool. Well, John, the movie is Little Brother. It is so damn funny. It is streaming on Netflix. Thank you very much for doing this, man.
Really, thanks for the time, man. I appreciate you.
What a great guy, huh? John Cena, one of the biggest names we've had on this show. Face of WWE for well over a decade and still working with the WWE, and now a really successful actor. Again, strongly recommend Little Brother with him and Eric Andre. Hilarious movie. You will love it. It's on Netflix. All right, now, Mark Ellis is a buddy of mine. He's a stand-up comic, works for Rotten Tomatoes, and decided that we would both put out a list of our 5 greatest LA movies. Mark, great seeing you. Thanks for doing this, man. Really appreciate it.
I am so excited when you presented me with this premise. My first thought was, okay, how many are Steve and I going to have on both of our lists? How many movies are you and I going to overlap? So the Vegas odds currently are 1.5 movies over under. What do you think? Do you think that our minds are more simpatico, or do you think that we're going to be completely different lists?
Under. I'm guessing that we won't have a single movie the same. That's my bet.
I think we got at least one. I think we got at least one.
All right. Real quick, I want to do this. You're a Spurs fan. You were rooting for the Spurs. How are you holding up? I talked to people that were at the parade today.
Well, I mean, you didn't, I'm sure we know a lot of people at that parade, because there's more like, 5 million people that are going to that thing. So this is what happens. And I've been warning people about this, is that you younger folks out there, we've been in a relative time of peace when a New York team hasn't won a major championship, I think, since the Giants beat the Patriots. This is who New Yorkers are, okay? This is why we don't let them win anything, because this is who they are. As far as the Spurs go, look, when you take a step back, you say, man, what an incredible run where, we didn't even know if Wemby was going to be playing basketball this time last year because of that blood clot. So I think that if this is a heartbreaking loss where it's an older team, you're bummed, and it's kind of a tough one to get over. We're so young. The future is so bright. This is just the beginning. So there's a lot of excitement right now in Spurs Nation, as there should be. So proud of the franchise, proud of our fans, and excited for what's to come.
Well, I am buying on the Spurs. I think they are going to have their time. I love Wemby. I thought he was terrific in the series. A couple of big mistakes. You know what? I would not want anybody to listen to my first week of radio. My first week of radio was terrible. This is their first playoff run.
Can you imagine? Dylan Harper's 20 years old. I didn't even know how to walk straight when I was 20 years old. I mean, Come on, man. Let's give them a little bit of leeway here.
Yeah. Now, they will grow up and they will make you proud. I promise, Mark. Yeah. All right. So 5 best LA movies. Now, I've been in LA for over 35 years now. Are you from LA?
I'm not. I've been here about 23 years now. So moved out here to
essentially natives now.
I mean, the city has been kind enough to adopt folks like you and I, so we really can get the culture, the flavor, and some really great movies.
Okay. So we've each got 5. I'm going to give you the first serve. What is your first movie on your list of all-time great LA movies?
All right, so I am going to get a couple honorable mentions out of the way, because I wanted to think of something. I definitely wanted to have something that captured the essence of Hollywood. So yes, Los Angeles, one of the big driving forces of LA is Hollywood and making movies, the Tinseltown aspect of it. I really wanted something that was going to be futuristic as well, and I just couldn't get in the top 5. So apologies to Blade Runner 2049 and to Escape from LA, which is such a fun, kind of silly, ridiculous, great 90s action movie from John Carpenter. So apologies to those movies. Yep, number 5 on my list does represent that Hollywood making movies, your dreams coming true kind of situation. I'm going to go with La La Land.
La La Land is a great movie. Great movie. I love that opening sequence. I think they shut down the 10 freeway for the musical number that they do right at the beginning. Damien Chazelle, great movie. Why do you think that embodies LA?
Well, I think it's the fantasy, right, of what LA could be, where, you and I, we moved out here to chase our dreams, and you go to LA, you know what the odds are. You're basically buying a lottery ticket to see if you can be a success, or in the case of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, meet your person on your way to making your dreams come true. So you see one of them have every dream that they had come true of being an actor. You see the other one who is kind of enjoying the ride of being a musician. And so these are 2 LA institutions, if you talk about jazz, if you talk about acting, and the way that they cross paths. And like you said, the opening number showing off our lovely traffic situation here in Los Angeles as well. Because, Steve, sometimes you're stuck in traffic. The only thing you can do is get on the roof of your car and dance the night away.
There you go. All right, so I agree with you. There needs to be a movie that represents Tinseltown and Hollywood and all that stuff. It came down to 2 for me. One was the Robert Altman movie, The Player, which I think is amazing.
Great call, yeah.
But I went with Sunset Boulevard. The original Billy Wilder, 1950, Gloria Swanson, William Holden. I saw the show on Broadway last year. the musical Sunset Boulevard. It was spectacular. Had Nicole Scherzinger. But if you think about that, it's all about the movies, being in the movies, finding your time has passed. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. I mean, it's a haunting ending. I thought that belongs on the list for 5 LA movies because that one embodies the show business aspect of this town.
You know what's funny about that? I almost went with another Billy Wilder movie that I'll tell you after we're done with the entire list. But you and I both slotting a show busy movie in at number 5. So our minds were thinking alike. We just didn't get the movies right.
Exactly. All right. Your number 4.
My number 4 film is going to be one that I just find so endlessly rewatchable, which is good because back in the days of cable, it was always on somewhere. It was running somewhere, maybe edited more than you would want a movie like this to be, but it is 2 of the greatest screen stars that we've ever had finally being on camera together. I think of a diner scene in particular, and that would be sharing a cup of coffee, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino in Heat. We're robbing banks all across Southern California.
That is on my list. We have just ding, 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 cross paths. I love Heat. I just love the shootout scene. The bank robbery scene is one of the best scenes, bank robbery sequences I've ever seen. And then it ends at LAX with them sort of around those stanchions in the middle of the LAX runway. It's just an unbelievable picture. There are a number of scenes where they're both like at a dinner, having dinner together, and it's all cat and mouse. And you're right, 2 of the great actors of all time finally coming together in that movie. And it's a Michael Mann movie too, on top of everything else. So we agree on Heat as one of the 5 greatest LA movies of all time.
Fantastic to hear, because there's also that scene where they're plotting a robbery and then the cops get there a little bit late, but Al Pacino's character realizes that they're being watched at that moment. And it's one of those huge, like, kind of docking stations that you'll see all over, like, Long Beach and areas like that. So it feels like the glitz of LA in a sequence where Robert De Niro is kind of staring over the hills of Hollywood, but then you also have like the industrial areas of LA as well. So a nice wide swath of what the city really looks like when you're driving around.
Yeah. Okay. We have that one in common. What's your number 3?
That's your number 4 too.
Yeah, we'll make that my number 4 as well.
Cool. Okay. So my number 3 is a movie that inspired me in more ways than one when I was a kid. I had to have a sports movie on the list because LA has such a rich sports tradition. And this is the mythical games that would go on at the Venice Playground. I am going with White Men Can't.
Such a great call. That is a great call.
I love such a great movie. I had a lot of Billy Hoyle and just a little bit of Sidney Dean in my game as well. When I was coming up playing pickup ball, more often than not, for reasons you could probably guess, a lot of guys called me Billy Hoyle on the court. Yeah, and I did my best to live up to that moniker. I love that movie because it's a sports movie, but it's about so much more than sports, and it teaches dummy guys like us really how to get along in the world, and it's the best advice that you could give somebody in any walk of life, and it's my favorite wedding advice, which is simply listen to the woman.
There you go. All right, I have a feeling we're not going to match on these last 3. So my number 3 is a movie directed by William Friedkin, stars William L. Peterson and Willem Dafoe and John Pankow. It's called To Live and Die in L.A.
That's a great call.
So I was a driver on a movie called Monkey Shines. I was a PA and a driver on a movie called Monkey Shines in 1987 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah. I left radio and I was like, I'm going to make it in show business. So I went to work on this George Romero movie. And one of the guys that I drove around was John Pankow from To Live and Die in L.A. And John told me that when they were shooting, they have a huge car sequence against traffic, right? They're going against traffic on the freeway. John told me that he and William L. Peterson were up front and William Friedkin was hunched down in the back seat yelling, go, 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 go. And I'm like, that is such an amazing story. And it's such an incredible film. That's gritty LA. I like gritty LA. That is just an amazing car chase sequence. So To Live and Die in LA is one of my 5.
I'm trying to think of what the sports comp for a director like William Friedkin would be, because he is so versatile, where he may not be the first director you mentioned with the great directors of all time, but he maybe should be. If you can do everything from The Exorcist to Sorcerer to another great basketball movie, which I will stand by, Blue Chips.
Yes.
He's a five-tool player.
Yep. William Friedkin. Is he still with us? Do you know?
I think he passed away recently, but I'm not sure about that. Well, I have a bad habit of killing celebrities before they're dead. Like I'll say R.I.P. and then realize they're still alive. So
Facebook kills celebrities all the time. Do you ever see on the Facebook somebody's always dead? My mom called me the other day and said, "Is John Stamos dead?" I said, "I don't think so." She said, "Facebook said he's dead." It's like there's weird, and he's fine. He's fine.
John Stamos is indestructible. We don't have to worry about him.
Exactly. All right. What's your number 2?
All right, so my number 2 movie is another one that feels a little like Heat in terms of you getting a wide swath of what LA looks like. And even when I moved out here and I didn't have any money or really much to do after hitting all the open mics that I could in any given night, sometimes I loved getting up super early in the morning, right, 4:30, and driving around LA before traffic begins. And the streets just come alive and they talk to you. You might see a coyote. You might just get inspired, get an idea, because there's nobody else out on the road. That's what the movie Collateral always reminds me of, where
another Michael Mann movie,
another Michael Mann flick, and Tom Cruise, like we've never seen it before, where he's playing. Get ready for this, kids. Are you sitting down? More of an antagonist than a protagonist, where he takes Jamie Foxx's cab driver basically hostage, and he's a hitman. Tom Cruise is, and he forces him to drive all around LA because he's got to make, shall we say, stops.
Yes.
And jazz actually factors into this movie as well, because one of those stops is at a jazz club and is one of the best scenes in the movie. So the LA jazz scene, the LA nightlife, and just being a cabbie in LA, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff. And it's one of my favorite movies to watch and clock where they shot which scenes.
Yeah. Now that has a special place in my heart, the movie Collateral, because I think, I used to own movie theaters. I owned 35 screens here in Southern California. And my 10-screen art house in Palm Desert, we were scuffling. We were having a really hard time getting product. And Paramount Pictures was good enough to sell us that movie Collateral, which kept us open for the summer. So Collateral was a really big movie. It was actually 2 movies. It was The Terminal and Collateral. Those were the 2 that Paramount gave me that got us through the summer. So thank you to Paramount, and thank you to the movie Collateral.
There's a lot of movie theaters that can thank those 2 Toms for keeping them afloat. So I'm glad you're in that boat.
Absolutely. All right, my number 2 is definitely not on your list, and maybe not on, wouldn't necessarily come up right away, but I wanted to bring it up because it's unusual. A lot of people haven't seen it. It's a good rec for a movie. If you've never seen this, it's called Nightcrawler. It came out in 2014. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Rene Russo. When you're watching the news early in the morning, you put on the Good Day LA or Channel 5 or whatever you watch, and you see crime footage, and you go to the corner of the screen, it says live on scene or some other. This is about a guy that goes to crime scenes and fires and car accidents and shoots the video, then sells it to TV stations for their news. That job is called a night crawler. You're basically hanging out all night looking for accidents and filming them for the TV news. I love this movie. Talk about gritty and sort of the underside of LA. Nightcrawlers, have you seen it?
I saw it and I loved it, and it was a very stacked category that year for Best Actor in a Movie at the Oscars. And I thought Jake Gyllenhaal should have somehow been shoehorned in there because he is so good in Nightcrawler, as is Rene Russo, as is the entire cast. But I will also say this. I think that both of our number 2s kind of do the same thing, where they show you the late night underbelly.
Oh yeah, the underside of LA, sure.
And so they're kind of doing the same thing. So again, you and I are on similar tracks, just different movies. But Nightcrawler is a great rec, and if you're listening or watching, you haven't seen that yet, it is definitely one that should be on your list.
Okay, it is not impossible that we have the same number 1 movie.
Could be.
Not impossible. You're up first. Number 1 all-time best LA movie.
It has one of my favorite quotes. It's one of my favorite premises. It's so simple. It is so universal. And it is so Los Angeles, particularly South Central Los Angeles. That would be Friday.
Oh, that is
so good. F out is one of my favorite quotes. I say it way too much in my everyday life. And Chris Tucker and Ice Cube. And it's even more LA than you would think just watching the movie because of who is involved, you know, like especially you think of Ice Cube and you think of somebody who is so synonymous with LA, coming from the music scene, getting into acting. It's a real do-it-yourself kind of movie. It's got so many great cameos of people who would go on to success. It launched Chris Tucker's incredible career. Rush Hour, by the way, another great Los Angeles franchise.
Yeah.
So none of that would have been possible without Friday. And it also, you just put it on and it's just one of the funniest movies that you could ever watch. A huge shout out to everybody in that movie. It's just so dang funny.
Now, I'm curious, did you see the sketch that the Rams put out with Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Chris Tucker's son doing the Rams thing and basically redoing a scene from Friday?
I did. I saw that. And I think, was that this year or was that last year?
That was this year.
Okay. I got to give it up to, well, a former LA team and the current LA team, one of them. The Chargers always have funny social media. They do. But the Rams doing that and the now Vegas Raiders doing the Step Brothers spoof, it just, cinema was all over the schedule release this, and it was so well done.
All right. My number one couldn't be more different from your number one. My favorite movie of all time, hands down, bar none, Chinatown. Love the movie Chinatown.
Forget about it, Jake.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. I've seen that movie so many times. I go back and watch it. To me, when I was a kid, I wanted to live in New York City. That my whole life was geared for, I'm going to go to New York. Then, I think I was around high school age, and I was a pretty eclectic kid. So I was watching movies that were beyond my time. And I watched Chinatown, and I decided that's where I want to live. I want to live in that LA. And it is so cool. It is so classic. It's got the Faye Dunaway performance, and apparently she was just a crazy person the entire time, according to Jack Nicholson and Roman Polanski. Polanski obviously is in the movie. Do you know Polanski's in that movie, right?
I remember he makes he shows up somewhere in it.
He's the one that cuts Jake's nose. Kitty Cat.
Right.
He's the guy. Yeah, and of course it's got the great turn at the end, the big shocking twist. If you've never seen Chinatown, it is amazing. But it is a very, very LA movie. So that is my number one.
Isn't that so funny that you and I are doing a list about a place that we've lived for the majority of our lives, I would say. And even though when we were born, we had nothing to do with this place, both of us have movies. You have Chinatown, I have White Men Can't Jump. They were kind of like, hey, I want to go do that, or I want to live in that place. It wasn't necessarily, I'm going to go do exactly that, but it was like, what is that place about? I want to go make my mark where they're making their mark. And lo and behold, look at us now, baby.
Look at us now. We're on a podcast.
Can I tell you the one other honorable mention that I had to have when we were talking about Heat? I was like, okay, because that was our one crossover movie, right?
Yeah.
I'll let you have Heat. I will let you have Heat, and I will shoehorn in another great Southern California bank robbing movie, Point Break. You got to talk about the surfers if you're going about Los Angeles.
It's a great one, yeah. Catherine Bigelow, terrific movie. By the way, the ones that just missed for me, Big Lebowski, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Right.
Drive. Did you ever see the movie Drive?
I love the movie Drive. Clueless is another great.
Clueless is good.
Too.
Yeah. Neither of us. Well, you had Friday, but I did not have any comedy on my list.
Well, I think you more than made up for it, and I think that we both have done the city that has taken us in for a combined 58 years. Yeah, very proud. I think the Dodgers would be proud of us, Steve.
I think they would. I think we would. We'll have you back. This is your second time on the show. We'll have you back, and like the Dodgers, it'll be a three-peat.
Let's do it, baby. Hey, my Orioles are taking on the Dodgers this weekend as we're taping this. So Go O's, otherwise go Dodgers, and we'll see y'all in the World Series.
All right, cool. Hey, Mark, awesome doing this. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, it is always a blast being with you, Steve, in person or virtually. On behalf of my foster dog, I'm calling her Baby Wemby right now. You can barely see her, but that's her. Say hi, Wemby. There she is.
Hey.
There all you on the show, didn't we, baby?
Yeah, she would she knock Jalen Brunson to the floor?
Hey, you know what? She can go toe to toe with Brunson. She can also duck over Mitchell Robinson. She's got everything you want. And there you go. If the Spurs had Baby Wemby with Big Wemby, we would be talking about our parade right now.
All right. Well, next year, man. Next year. Get ready. Mark, great seeing you. Great seeing you, man.
Have a good one, Steve.
There you have it. 5 greatest LA movies. Maybe you've got a different opinion. You can leave it down here in the comments section if you've got your favorite LA movie you did not hear mentioned. Thank you very much for subscribing to the show on Apple and on Spotify and on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube on the ESPN LA channel, make sure to hit the like button. And again, leave any comments, reviews. If we missed an LA movie, go ahead, let us know about it. And also on Apple and Spotify, leave us a review and a 5-star rating. Always really, really important and helps the show. Thank you to our sponsor, the law offices of Jacob Emrani. Thank you to John Cena and Mark Ellis. I will see all you guys next time on Mason Plus.